Hi guys, it's Hina here. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome. I'm Hina. Today we have a special guest,
Hey.
Robert. Okay, so this is my friend from college. We've been friends since sophomore year of college for me.
I think so. Yeah.
So it's been how many years? I don't want to count.
Like 4, 5
No,
years?
more than that. No, more than that. Because I've been
Yeah.
out of school for 4 years.
Okay. I think since like 2017.
Okay, so it's like 6 years?
Yeah, about 6
Wow.
years.
Wow.
Aren't you lucky?
It's kind of crazy how we met though. Do you remember?
Yeah, because I was working at office, and then you were a new member when I started to do your interview, and then
Yeah.
I just said hi to you, and then we started talking about you going into business school.
Yeah.
And I was already in business school already, and then thankfully took my advice and wanted to join like a business club
Yeah.
with me. Yeah,
We just
became
got
friends
closer.
after that. Yeah.
There were 2 people scheduled at that time, and the other girl went first. So I was waiting in the office, so we had time to talk.
Yeah.
So if I went first, we couldn't talk, and this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, actually.
So-
very lucky actually. Yeah. And then thankfully, we became friends after that. So
Yeah, and
it's
we're
kind of
still-
meant to be.
This is my semi-regular coffee talk, so I just like talk about random things in English.
Oh, okay. How have you liked moving to LA? You know, a lot of us at home miss you. You know, so it's kind of sad sometimes when we're like, we want to see Hina, but we're of course happy for you that you made the move. So
Thank you.
and especially coming from Hawaii where it's small, you know everyone, you see everyone every day. It's a bit of a change, but how have you actually like adjusted to LA, you know?
Having a friend from Hawaii live with me for the first month really helped me. I didn't get that homesick. In the back of my head, I just know that I can always go back. So, and I have you guys.
Yeah.
So, and you guys visit me so often.
Yeah, which is why I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I miss people, you know?
Yeah.
Having that confidence that, we'll stay friends.
Yeah.
Made me get comfortable here. I mean, Hawaii and LA for me isn't too far.
Yeah, that's true. It's not the
Not that
farthest.
far. So I like it here. I just like having things to do. I like keeping myself busy.
Yeah.
So I still feel so new to this city because there's just so much to see.
Yeah.
Now I'm only working part-time. I get to explore more. So I'm just like so excited for 2023.
Yeah, nice. COVID's like better, so
Right.
you can do a lot more now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like back to normal.
Yeah.
Are you considering moving?
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I mean, that's kind of like why I wanted to do these trips, right?
Yeah.
So, considering moving at some point, with a little bit of actually inspiration from seeing you, you know, it's kind of scary being in Hawaii and then like, ripping off the Band-Aid and making that
True.
big change because
Yeah.
I'm so focused on like family and friends.
Yeah.
So it's a little scary to make such a big change and move. Even though it's not really that far, it's just getting used to life back home is gonna be a change. But
Got it.
knowing that like I have friends like you and like a bunch of other people from back home that have already moved
Right.
to Seattle, San Fran, or
Oh, the
LA,
West Coast.
LA.
LA.
Yeah, so we'll see. It gives me a little bit of hope and support knowing that if I do make the change, I'll be okay.
Yeah, like you're not alone, and we know how it feels like to move from Hawaii to here.
Yeah,
so like,
yeah.
and it's kind of crazy to think how many of us moved from Hawaii to the West Coast.
It's after the pandemic.
Pandemic,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like I want to
Literally.
make a change. I'm tired of home, maybe. Yeah, or like I just want something new or different. Yeah. Looking forward to it. So we'll see 2024. I'll let you know.
All right.
Yeah.
I remember you saying like you weren't really interested in LA. No, because like I was telling you to visit me, but you were like, LA.
I
What
guess
was that?
I guess I was a little scared. Maybe just my small Hawaii mindset is that maybe like LA is too big, LA is too fast, LA is too scary. And it's just too different, you know.
Yeah.
But then I think being here a lot more
Yeah.
and like going around visiting different places and seeing more
Friends,
people,
yeah.
it's not as scary as I
No.
thought. Yeah.
Because you lived in Tokyo, right, for study abroad?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
true.
much slower than Tokyo.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
people are more laid back.
that's true, yeah.
So if you can survive Japan, you can survive here.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about like job opportunities and changing jobs. I don't know if you know, but I switched my jobs for like 4 times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
In like
4 years.
past 4 years. Okay.
Every year I would have a new job, and I feel like there's a stigma where if you switch jobs too often, it's like a red flag, and it will be harder for you to get a new job. But I've never encountered that issue before, and I feel like a lot of Japanese people have a negative image of switching jobs, so people are like very hesitant to switch careers even if they know that that's not what they want to do.
That's true. Yeah.
So just a little bit of background. He is an HR person.
Yes.
Yeah, can you tell me what you do?
Yeah, for sure. I went to University of Hawaii with Hina, and I majored in HR. After that, I've been at my HR firm for almost 5 years now. So I've done maybe about 5 positions in the company.
Oh, wow.
Starting from doing the main HR work for documentation, and then now I'm an account manager. So I have a book of business where I manage the relationship, I manage the success of the partnership with them, but overall just making sure that they're happy, and if they're not, then figuring out ways to solve their problems and making them feel, you know, the full value of our partnership overall. So it's definitely challenging, but it can be really rewarding. And a lot of the support we give is HR advice in order for them to run their business properly. And so that's the main focus of the services that we do. And so I have had the opportunity to interview a little bit some of the people that join my team. So I do have a little bit of insight into the HR world, the interviewing world, and like especially more so in America and then Hawaii, of course. So
Yeah. It sounded like you practiced this.
No, I didn't. I'm used to kind of talking about it to people when they ask me. That's why.
You sounded so professional.
No.
Like
Sorry. I think when I start talking about these things, I switch into like a
the work
professional mode. Yeah.
So a little bit of my background. So I majored in marketing, and I started working at this marketing firm in Hawaii, and COVID hit, so that made me switch a career and switch companies. So I started working at another marketing agency and I was doing more for like American clients. So before I was working between like Japanese and American markets, and then after that I moved to LA, started working at a marketing company again. I've only worked at a marketing agency.
No, I mean that's your focus. It makes sense.
Yeah. So that was my major. So I thought that's what I wanted to do in life. So 3 different marketing firms for 3 years, and now I'm like, I don't think I like working in the office. I want to be in a position where I have more flexibility, like not 9 to 5. I wanted to be my own boss. So now I only work part-time at a Japanese company. So I only work 3 days a week, and other 2 days plus weekends I do my own stuff like YouTube, yoga.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but I mean, my resume is kind of a mess. It's everywhere.
I think to some people might think it's like all over the place.
Yeah,
it's not
like,
the typical, but I think we're shifting into like a different time, different expectations of like our younger generation.
Yeah,
right?
you think so?
Yeah. I think there's definitely a shift in what people want nowadays.
I guess so.
Which is good, you know.
Yeah.
Especially for our age group, we'll be the next, you know,
Standard.
Of do what makes you happy.
Right? Yeah, I hope so. Okay, if I fail at this YouTube or yoga thing, I'm gonna have to go back to working 9 to 5 full time. So if that happens, like, would anyone hire me? If you looked at my resume now, like, what would you think?
For me personally, I would always want to know what was the reason of why you switched. You know, because you said yes 4 times in 4 years. It can seem a little bit
high risk.
But the understanding for businesses would be like, she may not stay with me, like my business, for very long. So I don't know if I want to hire her, but I always look at like the reasons why. So whether it's job change, whole industry change, or moving physically from like one place to like Hawaii to LA for you. Like that is definitely like reasonable situations, I think. So, which is your situation too. So I definitely would like to see like your qualifications that are on there, and then in the interview would want to question, you know, what was your reason for doing all these changes, which a lot of companies will do, you know. And then as long as you have that good reason, and what you did for those other companies, I think it's fine. And like you said, you didn't have an issue when you went to the next 3 companies and the one you're at now, because probably you gave them good reasons, and your skills
Yeah.
probably spoke for themselves, you know. So you must have had a really good interview, I would say.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time too, you know, that's not going to work for every company, right?
That's
there are
true.
going to be some companies that probably may not like that, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of companies like they're okay with it. You
Right,
know?
right.
It's just finding what fits best for you, both on the, you know, like the employee side and the employer side. So I think you're fine. You know,
That's reassuring
Yeah.
to hear. I always give them a good reason, and I don't quit companies for just because I didn't like it, or
Yeah.
you know, just because I didn't get along with the boss. You know, when I go into an interview, I always have a legitimate reason why I left the company, and I genuinely liked previous bosses, and like I genuinely liked the company, so the work that I did. I hear stories like it's not easy to quit and switch companies, and I'm like, why not?
I think a lot of it is especially with like that older generation mentality, and then there's
Yeah.
also this type of, I think, Asian mentality. Asian people are so dedicated, hardworking,
That's
and
true.
it's hard for them to, I think, leave something when they know that people are dependent on them, like their coworkers
That's true.
or their manager. I think a lot of times Asian people don't like feeling uncertainty, right? Or at least the older generation of
Yeah.
like Asian people, they want certainty, they want structure, and changing jobs breaks that structure and makes them feel uncomfortable.
That's true. That's true.
And I'm sure there's other races or ethnicities that have that too, but
Yeah.
I definitely feel that from like my Asian parents, my Asian grandma, you know, like my Asian friends. You definitely feel that pressure of that 9 to 5 job is secure. Don't take risks,
That's
because
true.
at the end of the day, you have to make money still, even though you wanna, you know, have fun with your life. But I think definitely where you live or where you are can really change your perspective. Japan might be a little bit more like that, and but I have heard from some of my friends in Japan where they've actually switched jobs like 2 or 3 times.
Wow, good for
And
them.
their parents were not happy about
Oh.
it, but like them and their friends supported each other, and they still got jobs.
Yay! I forgot the part of like being looked down on. Sometimes people think if you quit a company, you're a
Yeah.
quitter. Like
Right,
you
right,
couldn't
right.
bear the work. Like you're weak.
Yeah.
It's just so sad.
Yeah, it's culture wise too.
Right,
That's right.
right.
All your schooling to get that one great job.
The biggest company.
Yeah. You're supposed to stay there until you retire.
Retire.
Is everyone there actually happy, you know, like with what they do, who they work with, the company culture? But then again, that's my American point of view.
Right,
of like
right.
happiness should be important in your work life. And
I mean, I feel like some people actually love working at one company
true,
for the
true,
longest
true.
time,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, it's hard to speak up or make the change when everyone else is, you know, following that path and you're not.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you might feel like an outsider or
Yeah.
like different.
Yeah.
I feel like more so in Japan, they're taught to, you know, do the same thing as others. So
structure.
yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of
for
a lot
sure.
of like structure. Yeah.
And also, I feel like the bosses are different too. Because
yeah.
here, from my past experiences, like when I say that I want to explore different things or I want to move to different states, they've always been supportive. I quit my second job because I wanted to take yoga teacher training. I ended up not teaching right after, but still, like, I wanted to focus more on that, so I quit. My boss was like super nice about it.
Oh.
I mean, she
okay.
was sad to see me go, but still, she was like, "Oh, I'm so excited for you."
Supportive, yeah,
supportive. But versus, like, I hear stories in Japan where bosses are not cool with you quitting, and I've seen people's stories about bosses nudging them like after they quit, like, "Hey, like, what did you do to this?" Or,
Yeah.
I thought that was very different.
That's definitely different, I think, here. I don't think
Yeah.
you hear too much of stories of that. Maybe it's more of a personal feeling. That's why, like, in America, it may be just transactional. Yes, it hurts to have someone leave, but like,
Yeah.
okay, we have to just move on and
Right.
get through it. Maybe
Nothing personal.
Yeah. In Japan, it's a little bit more personal, just with the work culture. Yeah,
I guess.
but I've heard of that too. Which
Oh,
is
really?
sad. It's like it's unheard of here. You know.
Yeah, so switching jobs can be fun, and like I like new things, so
Yeah,
I always
yeah.
get excited to start a new job, but then also, you know, like it's not always good things.
Yeah.
What could be the cons of going to a different company?
There's actually a bunch. So one of them is definitely what we mentioned earlier, is like you may seem not committed as much as other people. The worst thing that companies can do is hire you, invest time, grow you, and then you'll leave, and then
take the asset somewhere else.
Then they'll have to restart again with a new person. Companies will always more or less want someone to stay forever. But again, in America, they understand that it's also a transaction and it'll change. So that's the biggest thing.
Okay.
But as long as you can have a good example like you have, it should be fine.
Right.
The other thing too is going to be change adjustment cost.
What is that?
Change adjustment cost. So it's like you started a company, right? And then you learned like the company culture, the people, the work that you have to do, and then when you change jobs, you have to restart that all over again. So it's kind of a cost to yourself. It's energy, time that you've already invested in at your current job, and then are you willing to restart that again at the new one?
I see.
And so I have heard a lot of times from other people that they're good with where they are. They don't want to restart everything, and they don't want to restart making new relationships with coworkers, and so to some people it may not be worth like changing.
And plus, like, you have to unlearn what you learned at your current job or like the past job. I mean, I can kind of see that, because if you do things in a certain way, the new company doesn't like it, you have to adapt to the new company.
And the things that you thought were acceptable or good standards may not be the same. So it's a risk that you take. The third biggest one is most times people want to change jobs because they don't like their coworkers, they don't like their manager, and they don't like the work that they do. But concept is like the grass isn't always greener on the other side. So the problems that you have with the work or the people in your current job, it may be the same at the new job or even worse. It doesn't always work out when trying to change. So again, it's another risk that you have to take.
That's true.
And then again, it combines with you have to restart learning the work, the people again. So you just have to make an informed decision of like what's best for you. So
that's so true.
People at my company, they left and they came back. We call them like boomerangs. And they said like the problems that I express, it's the same over there but worse. And some of them left and came back in 3 months, a month. There are people that came back within 1 week that realized that more money and all the other things that they were promised over there wasn't worth like the company culture. There's pros and cons to both of that, but I definitely say like you got to do your research if you want to make the change. You have to look on like Glassdoor, Pay Scale. I think those are the common like websites to see like the salary ranges and the company culture. And of course the best is always like, do you have a friend that works there? Because they'll give you the insights into is it worth it? what they like and don't like.
So we talked a lot, but if I lived in Japan and didn't like my current job, then I would definitely consider switching, because like you only live once. I sound so cliche, but
it's true.
And you're not young forever. I'm 26 now, and I want to have kids. So and yoga is like a physical job, right? I can't do it when I'm pregnant. I could, but then it's gonna be hard, and it's not gonna be the same. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to start now. I think that really pushed me make that decision sooner rather than later.
Right.
It's That's also true. Like easier to make those changes when you're single or like you're not settled down yet.
I think what's most important is figuring out what's important to you. Like what do you value? How do you want to see your life? And unfortunately, yes, where you live and the culture that's around you or what you grew up with can make an impact on that and may change what you actually think is important to yourself. But you do have to have a little bit of that confidence to make that change if you really want it.
That's true.
Yes, I think it's different in America than in Japan. I have to say, like, wanting to be happy, wanting a balance in your life and your work life makes for a more fulfilled life. In the end.
I was gonna say I had a chance to reevaluate what my happiness is like during COVID and stuff. Growing up in a traditional like Japanese household, I think I subconsciously had the value like, oh, I have to work at a corporate big company, and that's the definition of success. But then like that shifted after the pandemic. So hopefully if anyone is considering or not happy with where they are. You can make the decision that makes you the happiest. All right.
Okay.
Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, so this is Robert. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope this was helpful. Leave me a comment and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.